just a few hours, Lori Lightfoot will reveal what she's learned about the financial troubles in South suburban Dalton.
Dalton trustees hired the former Chicago mayor to investigate their own mayor's office.
When you see that the trustees are talking about layoffs, it gives you a clue.
Hold up. Is Tiffany Henyard really trying to flee the country after some serious new evidence has come to light against her and several members of the Board of Trustees? It seems like the arrest we've all been waiting for is finally about to go down. Those who were once protecting Tiffany from facing charges have now turned against her after Lori Lightfoot presented undeniable evidence that's impossible to contest. Tiffany might have shamelessly dismissed the earlier accusations, but now she's panicking because this new evidence could be the end for her. Things have gotten so dire that some of the trustees are calling for her immediate arrest, fearing that she might attempt to leave the country any minute now. The trustees are arguing that Tiffany, as mayor, hasn't paid vendors and refuses
that the financial situation is dire. I believe that it's really important for us to bring forward to the members of the public, the residents of Dalton, what we have found so far, because there's a lot of tough decisions that are going to have to be made. That has to be made in context and with full transparency.
To provide any budget reports explaining her spending. Lori Lightfoot is expected to reveal what she has uncovered during her investigation, despite Tiffany's lack of cooperation. For those unfamiliar with Lori Lightfoot, she's the former mayor of Chicago. The Board of Trustees in Dalton brought her in as a special investigator after their own attempts to probe Tiffany's corruption failed to produce any useful evidence. Initially, there was skepticism about bringing Lori into the investigation. Many people believed that Lori was too corrupt herself and would try to protect Tiffany. Some Dalton residents even suspected that Lori might be involved in the scandal and that she had more evidence against Tiffany but was holding back to give her time to evade justice. During a recent town hall meeting just a few weeks ago, tensions flared when Tiffany and her entourage caused a scene, trying to prevent Lori from speaking and providing an update on her investigation.
May of 2024, which is a negative $3.65 million.
Over the last 3 fiscal years, the average monthly expenditures of the village have increased by nearly 30%.
The entire incident seemed orchestrated, and many people began criticizing the Board of Trustees for hiring Lori in the first place, believing her to be just as corrupt as Tiffany. One resident commented, "A corrupt mayor being investigated by an even more corrupt mayor, this is laughable." Hiring Lori Lightfoot to investigate Tiffany Henyard is like hiring a fox to guard the henhouse. Another person added, "One corrupt mayor versus another life is more entertaining than video games." However, all the corruption allegations against Lori seemed to push her to uncover as much dirt on Tiffany as possible, and she didn't hold back. Lori found that when Tiffany first took office, Dalton's general fund balance was $5.61 million, but by May 2024, it had dropped to a deficit of $3.65 million. To make matters worse, Lori revealed details of credit card.
As you can see in the graphic, in fiscal year 2022, on average, the village spent about $1.9 million a month, but in the last fiscal year, that amount had climbed to $2.5 million.
Transactions amounting to thousands of dollars, which were traced back to Tiffany's lavish online shopping sprees whenever she was bored at home. And if you're wondering what exactly Tiffany was buying with these credit cards, brace yourselves, you won't believe it. It turns out she was making purchases from Amazon, Target, Walgreens, Wayfair, and other retailers. One notable purchase on Amazon totaled $33,000, made on January 5, 2023, in a single day. 2 more transactions were made on that site, one for $4,700 and $15, and another for $5,000. Additionally, she spent over $7,000 at Wayfair and $2,200 at Best Buy. She also splurged a total of $100,000 and $200,000 and $200,000 on vacation trips to foreign countries in the past year alone. But if you thought that was shocking, wait until you hear the rest. It only gets.
Trustees argue the mayor has not paid vendors and won't provide budget items explaining any spending. Tonight, Lightfoot will reveal what she's been able to uncover despite Henyard's unwillingness to cooperate. We did catch up with Lightfoot this week.
It's worse from here. Lori Lightfoot's investigation further uncovered that, as of June 18, 2024, at least 589 checks, totaling over $6 million, were approved and printed but never sent to the vendors. And keep in mind, these vendors rely on those checks to support their families. But Tiffany didn't care, as she was more interested in financing her extravagant lifestyle. As of June 18, 2024, the Caspar firm reported that 589 checks, amounting to over $6 million, had been approved and printed but not delivered to the vendors. However, Tiffany wasn't just spending Dalton's money on vacations and billboards with her face on them. Lori also revealed that Tiffany had been bribing police officers, getting them to perform special favors for her. Although the exact nature of these favors remains unclear, it's safe to assume they weren't above board, especially since she was paying these officers thousands in overtime. Oddly enough, all of this went unnoticed until Lori began her investigation. Lori's findings also revealed that 2 officers had received overtime pay that far exceeded their annual salaries. One officer, with a salary of $87,000 for fiscal year 2024, received $114,000 in overtime. The second officer, earning $73,000, received $102,000 in overtime during the same fiscal year. Over the last 2 years, both officers earned more in overtime than their base salaries. It's also understood that one of these officers was not part of the collective bargaining unit and hadn't been for some time, meaning they were not eligible for overtime under normal circumstances. Yet, as shown, this officer accumulated $215,740 in overtime from fiscal years 2022 through 2020. I'm sure you could hear the collective gasp in the room when it was revealed Tiffany was paying these officers more in overtime than their actual salaries, and no one raised an eyebrow. Something is definitely off here. Once the FBI got wind of this and Lori submitted the evidence, 2 subpoenas were issued, allowing the feds to search Tiffany's properties for more incriminating information. The first subpoena reportedly sought personnel files, tax and wage records, time and attendance logs, contracts, and checks made out to cash from various businesses Tiffany was involved in, including a restaurant, a property management company, her political action committee, and a charity in her name. The second subpoena targeted township financial documents, such as budgets, payroll records, ordinances covering credit card purchases, expense reports, reimbursements, security details, and vehicle usage. Needless to say, they uncovered a trove of incriminating evidence. On top of all this, Tiffany's access to Dalton's accounts has been restricted during the investigation to prevent further embezzlement. According to reports, the Board of Trustees approved a freeze on credit card spending amidst the ongoing federal investigation. But this isn't where it ends. Word is, while these town hall meetings have been taking place, Lori Lightfoot has continued to dig deeper into those who may have assisted Tiffany in her corrupt dealings. This evidence hasn't been made public yet, but according to reports, it's expected to be the final nail in Tiffany's coffin. As always, people have shared their opinions on the situation. One person commented, "I'm impressed by Lori Lightfoot. She conducted a thorough investigation, uncovered significant details, and she's not even done yet. I'm glad the residents and trustees are finally getting some answers." Another person said, "This is beyond disturbing. With inflation at an all-time high, the Henyard administration is ruining the lives of residents without any concern. There are going to be serious consequences." But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about this new evidence Lori Lightfoot has uncovered against Tiffany? Do you believe Tiffany will be facing jail time anytime soon? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to click here to watch another equally shocking video.